Hey everybody, and welcome back to the channel for another Hot Toys figure unboxing and review. My name is Graham and this is the Jedi Knights Watch, and today we're going to have some fun looking at Endgame Thor. Now before we get going, I want to invite you to smash that like button. It really helps the channel a lot. It tells YouTube that you like the content that I'm creating. And subscribe if you haven't already. It's a great channel. We have a great community. We have a lot of fun. We do live streams every Monday night. So be a part of that and ring that bell so you don't miss any new content coming your way. Alright, so I do have Infinity War Thor from Hot Toys, and that's always been my favorite Thor. It's been the one that I like the most. I like the short hair. I think the head sculpt looks really good. And I didn't really see the need for this one, but as time goes on, obviously things change. You know, I have the Mark 85, I have Captain America Endgame. So part of me thought maybe I should just add Endgame Thor and see what he's all about. And if I like him enough, then I will sell my Infinity War Thor. So that's what we're going to decide today. Now, we've done a lot of Endgame reviews and unboxings. A lot of the boxes are the same. A lot of the bases are the same. So we're going to do things a little bit differently today. We're going to kind of do like a cinematic overview of the box and some of the accessories. And then we're going to do a big portion of comparing the two figures and letting you know what I like and dislike about the figure. So without further ado, let's get going. Alright guys, and here we have the Infinity War Thor on the left and the Endgame Thor on the right. there's going to be a ton of things that are either similar or the same on both figures, and there are going to be some big differences as well. Let's start with some things that are different, and the first thing would obviously be the head sculpt. So the Endgame one on the right has the longer hair, he has the longer beard. I don't know if I see much of an actual difference in the actual head sculpts themselves, but obviously the hair gives it a lot different of a look. The hair itself is got some give to it, so you're not going to have a whole lot of movement in the Endgame Thor. The hair is going to restrict it a little bit. However, you will get some movement, but if you move it certain ways, the hair is going to look like it's kind of floating. That was one thing that kind of led me to stay with the Infinity War Thor, was the hair just kind of sometimes, it looks like it's winging out. It almost reminds me of the early PlayStation 2 games where people with long hair on the video games, the hair just kind of stuck straight out. It kind of reminds me of that. It does look good. The paint application is great. I do like the Endgame Thor. I like the beard. I still like the Infinity War Thor as well. I like the short hair look, but I will say I do think the Endgame Thor looks just a hair better. Now, they do have the same outfits. However, Endgame Thor is going to have a little bit of extra cargo here in the belly area, so he is going to be a little bit wider, as you can see. Obviously, that's more of Bro Thor. The arms are also going to be wider. It's going to be the same type of arm and, same gauntlets and everything, but again, they are going to be thicker. Yes, you can swap these out for this Thor and make him look beefier. Yes, you can swap this head sculpt out for this one and kind of do a kit bash Thor. I did think about doing that. However, I just think with this head sculpt on that one, the hair just wings out too much because the shoulders are just a little bit higher on the Endgame version. He maybe is a tad taller, but the shoulders for sure are taller on the Endgame version. Turning it around even further here. Oh boy, Endgame or Infinity War doesn't like to stand up as much anymore. But so the capes. The capes are mostly the same, but these markings on the outside are going to be a lot darker on the Endgame Thor. I don't know if it's because it's just newer. Maybe this one faded over time, but this one does have a little bit darker of a color. Let's turn them back around here. The pants on both versions are going to be exactly the same. The boots are going to be exactly the same. The split cut boot design is going to be exactly the same. I'm not a fan of the pants. I think they're too thick of a material and they definitely restrict the figure's movement. So that is a bummer. We'll get into that in a little bit, but I think this guy's we're gonna have a hard time posing him. I mean, I kept my Infinity War Thor in pretty much one pose the whole time. Just because, A, I thought he looked really good, but then B, he's just not the most posable figure. And if I do recall, I believe both have single-jointed knees and elbows, so that's another bummer that Hot Toys didn't decide to fix that on the new version. But overall, I'm struggling here. I don't know which one I like better. They both have their things about them that I like better, but I guess as of right now, I'm kind of leaning towards the new one. The other big difference is Endgame Thor comes with Mjolnir, and these do have light up features, and there is also going to be just more weathering on this one than in past sculpts or accessories. And the light up feature is really cool. I'm not going to show you that just because if you've watched my channel, you guys know I don't mess with the whole battery thing. There's plenty of reviewers out there that you can check their video and see what it looks like, but I just don't mess with it, so I do apologize. And then we do have Stormbreaker right here, which looks really good, and just check out the size comparison between the two. They really modified this. Let's see if I can get the whole thing here to be more screen accurate. So they got rid of the wraparound effects, and then you can just see on the blade itself. There's just definitely a lot more pitting and weathering going on in the Endgame version. So wow, it just looks like this is like, instead of Baby Groot, this is like Baby Stormbreaker. So that is really cool that they made the Stormbreaker more accurate. And then the other difference is you get all of his lighting effects from his suit, but then you also get lighting effects for these guys, which I probably will add on because they do look pretty cool. Outside of that, the cape itself isn't one of my favorite aspects of the figure. It definitely has a cheap feel to it. It doesn't drape very well. It's pretty lightweight. It looks nice, especially that red color. It's very rich, but it just doesn't drape well and doesn't look very natural. Outside of that, what do you guys think of these two figures side by side? Which one would you choose as your favorite? I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. They are pretty similar, but they do have their differences. Just checking this guy out a little closer up, you can see a good shot here of the head sculpt, and I think his right eye is still a different color, but I can't tell. It seemed more obvious with this guy here. I can't tell. Anywho, just taking a look. These are removable if you want the bright white electricity look to it. That's really weird in the hair. Is that something that's in every figure? It's like a square cutout. I don't know what that is for, but let me know if you guys have this figure and if you've seen that before. Taking a look at the hair. You got the ponytail here, and it's just kind of a rubbery sculpt. I do like this head sculpt a lot. The hair kind of takes a little bit away from me, but overall it still looks really good. We do have kind of the same armor that he had in the previous Infinity War figure, and there is almost like some bronzing wash going on just to kind of give this a little bit more depth, so it doesn't look like just a flat black material. So it looks like armor itself. This almost looks like rust or just wear underneath. So that looks really good, and then obviously the black has these effects on them as well. As you can see, we have the arms and the gauntlets. The gauntlets look okay, but I mean, not great. I don't like the pants. It's just kind of like this thick material that does not give much give at all. And then the boots are okay. You got the split cut boot design. Hopefully they don't weaken kind of like the Infinity War Thor did. On the back, he has the on-off switch, and then where the battery's going as well. And you can just see the cape, and it's got these nice details on the edges. But I don't like how it drapes, obviously, like I've said before. And then this kind of looks funky here in the middle. But yeah, that's pretty much the figure right there. If you look on the shins too, he does have some weathering going on, and some almost like scratches and just kind of paint weathering going on, so that looks really good. Overall, this is a pretty cool figure, but let's get into the articulation. Alright, and taking a look at some of the articulation, because of this gut, it's really hard. There's going to be no movement here. Because of the hair, there's really, you know, if you go down a little bit, it'll move the hair out, but I mean, there's not much movement there. As you can see, just the hair kind of wings out a little bit. But even, you know, this way, the hair will kind of get out of the way, which is nice, but sometimes it looks a little unnatural as well. Let me just see if I can move it this way. So there you go. The arms, it's almost like on ratchets, and then again, those do, you can, they kind of have like some movement, they kind of pull down. But check this out. Without really forcing it, that's as far as his arm bends. This guy's going to be really limited on what posing we can do. Look at that. That's as far as that goes up. This material feels like a rubbery material, so hopefully that holds up over time. Let's take a look here. Obviously, it'll go out to as far as you want because it is a separate piece. The legs, I mean, it's bad, guys. That's about it right there. The knee goes to about 90. There is some swivel. There's no swivel in the arm. And then we do have that split cut boot design and a nice tread there as well. Alright guys, so now that we've gotten a good look at our Endgame Thor and compared him to Infinity War Thor, let's get him into some poses and talk about some of the things that I like and dislike about the figure. Starting off with the things that I really like about the figure, I do really like the head sculpt. I think the beard looks good. For the most part, the hair looks good, but I do get some PlayStation 2 vibes. Where the hair would like stick straight out and just maybe not look as realistic as possible, but I still do really prefer the sculpted hair to the rooted hair, so that's a plus. The second thing that I really like about the figure is that they changed Stormbreaker to be more screen accurate. It's a bigger size, it's heftier, it looks awesome, and the fact that they added those cool electricity pieces to it. Although they do fit really tight, and it does scare me over time that trying to get them on and off, it'll scratch up Stormbreaker and Mjolnir itself. So just something to keep in mind there. Now for some things that I didn't necessarily really like about the figure. The first thing would be the cape. No improvements here with the cape. No wiring, not a better material so that it would drape nicer. It just takes away from the figure and kind of makes it look more like a toy, and you do have to get it looking just right in order to have it look real. The second thing that I don't like about the figure is going to be the articulation. There's not going to be a whole lot of movement in the head. There's no movement in the abdomen area. There's a single joint in the knees and the arms, which to me is a no-no. We just can't get the poses we need out of this guy. So that is definitely something that I don't like. The third thing that I don't like was that some of the peg holes in the hands they were aimed at a different direction, like they were kind of angled differently, and they were too small to get some of the pegs in there. So I actually had to drill out a couple hands just to get the peg to fit. I think I fought with it for about 15 minutes. My fingers are raw, so that was definitely a pain that I had to even do that. Overall, this figure is really awesome. I do like the Endgame Thor. If you have Infinity War Thor, you don't necessarily need this one. However, if you want to make your Avengers line Endgame, then yes, he is a must. He comes with some pretty cool accessories, and he looks really good. You're just not going to be able to get him into some really awesome poses if you ask me. Alright guys, well, that's the video. Hopefully you liked it. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. And until next time, stay safe out there, and we'll see you soon.